Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Now, Caribbean Airlines has begun its service into St. Kitts and Nevis. The inaugural flight from Trinidad's Piarco International Airport with a stop in Antigua and Barbuda took place on Monday. Now, the move is part of the airline's Eastern Caribbean expansion plans. And so joining us to talk more about it are representatives from the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. We have with us, of course, Chief Executive Officer Ellison or Tommy Thompson. We also have Marketing Officer Daniel Weeks and Communications Coordinator Jonette Boyd. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you.
Is this your first time?
It's my first time.
It's your first time?
Yes, I've been here before.
You've been here before. So, Daniel, you know the ropes. Kind of. But let me thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. Exciting things happening. But, Tommy, I'm coming to you first. We had that inaugural flight on Monday. Does it mean that we are seeing flights now leaving from Trinidad going across to St. Kitts from Monday until?
That is correct. So we've got Monday and Friday flights from Trinidad into St. Kitts via Antigua. And it's just making regional travel that much easier.
Yeah. Is it making it cheaper, though?
Well, flights start around $600 return U.S., depending on when you book.
Right, of course.
Yeah. But, regional travel has been a nightmare. So this is just making it so much easier, and it's going to allow more regional visitors coming to St. Kitts, and from St. Kitts coming into Trinidad. Yeah. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Now, you mentioned it's making a stop in Antigua first before it continues to St. Kitts. What hours of the day can we see the flights?
Well, we see the flight leaving Trinidad around about 7:50 in the morning, and you're in St. Kitts by 11 o'clock. So it's a very short stay over in Antigua.
Right.
And you've got the whole day in St. Kitts to start liming.
I love that. You know, if one thing Trinis love is that. In terms of the boosting of the tourism, because I know one of the things Cal wanted to focus on in terms of getting into that market is to boost their flights as well. But how does it help St. Kitts boost their tourism?
Well, the Caribbean pre-pandemic was actually the second largest market from St. Kitts after the USA. So this is a great step forward to us getting back to those pre-pandemic levels. And we know that the Caribbean is really event-driven. So a lot of events do go on in St. Kitts and Nevis, and that we just want to welcome our Trini brothers and sisters to come and join us.
Well, I want to call on our marketing officer, Daniel. I mean, tell us what we can see when we take that flight across from Trinidad to St. Kitts.
Well, definitely, we're really excited to have Cal into St. Kitts.
Yeah.
Right now, we are running our Summer of Fun program because, as you know, during the summer season, most of the Caribbean islands, there's not much going on. But in St. Kitts, we do have an extensive list of activities. So in June, we had our music festival, which is the last Thursday in June, going down to Sunday. And then we had our Mango Festival in Nevis. We had our Restaurant Week. We are now going into Culturama, which is the festival in Nevis. And then we have CPL to round it off for the summer.
You can't just touch on CPL and leave it right there. Yeah. So CPL is coming up as well.
Yes. The dates for St. Kitts is August 23rd to the 27th. And all year round, we have a number of activities. If you're into land activities or water activities, we have something for everybody. So we have a lot of activities in St. Kitts: ATV, zip line, our scenic railway, our rainforest tours. Yeah, we have, it's quite extensive.
Of course. Jonette, I'm coming to you because it's not just St. Kitts, but it's St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes. And so tell us some of the amazing things we can also see on Nevis.
So it's rather easy to get to Nevis. If you're located in Bastille, then a faster ferry will get you there in 30 minutes. The regular ferry, 45. If you're at the most southern tip, you'll get to Nevis in under 10 minutes via water taxi. So you can always go over. You could do a day tour. You could spend a few days there. Nevis is a bit of the quainter side. We always go there to relax.
Like our Tobago.
Yes, like your Tobago.
Yes.
It have the Alexander Hamilton Museum. He's influential in the U.S. history. Yes. And they also have the Nevis Hot Springs. They do have a botanical garden. You have the famous Sunshine's Bar where everybody goes to get a killer bee.
A killer bee, like an actual bee? Please tell me about that.
It's a
actually
special drink, a
drink.
rum mixture that can creep upon you. So you have to monitor yourself when you have a killer bee.
Which is no wonder why you can take a water taxi back, right? You can't drive back to St. Kitts after that killer bee. Interesting, interesting. I mean, so many amazing things I think the travel is going to have for, people who are coming across to St. Kitts and Nevis. But I mean, if it is, we were to even look at how it's going to boost the economy in St. Kitts, and anybody can handle this question, what sort of returns can we expect to see locally in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Well, I think one of the wonderful things is we want to move St. Kitts to a year-round destination. Traditionally, it was just, sort of like a winter destination, but now with these flights year-round, then we now are moving to achieving the goal of making it a year-round destination. So it's a great input of into the economy in terms of hotel stays or Airbnb stays, rentals for cars, also the bars, the restaurants. All of these get a cash infusion when you've got this new flight coming in. And we know that Trinidad people love to party. So without a doubt, the local bars are going to really benefit. And we've got a number of bars where they can go and just, bust a line with us.
Yeah, of course. And I'm also coming to you, Daniel, because I also wanted to know the importance of the flight, especially as we're coming out of the throes of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, as Mr. Thompson mentioned earlier, the Caribbean was our second largest market. So now that we have Caribbean Airlines, it gives us the opportunity to get back to where we were before COVID. We have a lot of activities in St. Kitts and Nevis throughout the year, so having this flight gives Trinis the opportunity, to come over and party with us. So from Carnival to our music festival to CPL, it just gives you the option and the accessibility to get to St. Kitts.
Mr. Ellison, you mentioned there is the second largest group came from the Caribbean. Is there a peak for visitors to visit the island? Is it like that, let's say during the carnival season or during that winter break? Is there a peak that people usually visit?
Well, the peak at this time is usually from November until April, May.
Right.
But when we have our events like Carnival Music Festival, we always get a great injection of visitors. And the fact that we get a lot of Trinidad performers coming to the music festival, it's making it so much easier for them to get there. And the music festival that we just had, Kez was there, and he's one of my favorites.
So then, when is your carnival period?
So our carnival period is in December into January. So our carnival spreads into 2 years. Yes.
Explain that. Explain that again. Yes, tell us.
So for this year, our team is all in with the crew for Sugar Mass 52. So it starts on the 15th of December and ends on the 2nd of January 2024. So you have the 26th of December where we have Juve. So you could imagine Christmas
Boxing Day is
yes,
Juve. Tell me more.
Boxing Day is Juve. On January 1st, wearing feathers, wearing costumes on January 1st and 2nd.
That is interesting. So you can give yourself that as a Christmas gift to play mass.
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounds very, very interesting.
I'm sure we're the only carnival that goes over 2 years.
Yeah. So you love to party, looking at you. But again, and explain to us the benefits you can see from CPL, because I know that they have a new sponsor now, which is Republic Bank, and so there's a lot of activity that's happening. But how can this CPL help not just to boost the economy, but to bring more attention to the island? And anybody can take this question.
Yeah, well, the good thing about CPL, as you know, it's a Caribbean Premier League.
Yeah.
So before COVID, we had persons following their teams. So during that slow period, we were able to get persons from Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados. Wherever had a team, they would follow their team. So we'll get our hotels filled. Our taxi operators will benefit from it and all the other activities. Yes.
So it is actually people coming in to boost the thing.
Yes, definitely.
How do you keep the authenticity of the island? Because people are we're moving towards the digital space. We're moving towards modernizing most of our operations. And I'm coming to you, comms person, Jonette, for this. How do we ensure that we keep that sort of uniqueness of St. Kitts and Nevis?
Well, our most recent brand campaign, it speaks to venture deeper. And what we are encouraging people to do is not come for just sun, sea, and sand, but to venture into our history, our culture, romance, eco-adventures. Our island is a bit of it's unspoiled beauty. So it's still that quintessential destination. So as much as you would see some bit of modern aspects to it, as you drive around the island, you're still seeing the remnants of where our cane fields used to be. Our rainforest is expanding. So we still have that unspoiled. So it's a good mixture. And we tend to want to highlight what we have to offer. Our UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is Brimstone Hill Fortress and National Park. We have Wingfield Estate. That is a major sugar plantation. That's where the first land grant was in the entire Caribbean, or in the Western Hemisphere, I must say. And we have many more attractions, you know, our money shot, as Mr. Thompson would say, Timothy Hill, where you could see the Atlantic on your left and the Caribbean Sea on your right. So our island is just unspoiled, beautiful, mountainous in the middle, and then you're just greeted by the ocean on either side.
I love it. It sounds really, really beautiful.
And we're pretty sure we've got a great tour that Trinidadians would love. It's called
yes.
the Catition Rum Master Program.
So some rum is involved in
Yeah, some rum is
that, of
involved with
course.
it. So you have the theoretical part at Winfield Estates, and then you have the practical side at Spice Mill with the hibiscus rum, where you're actually able to create your own blend. And then you get your certificate certifying you as a Catition Rum Master, and then you get to enjoy it.
You get to enjoy your rum, so you can take it home.
Indeed.
Now, I want us to bust a myth here. Can you swim from St. Kitts to Nevis?
Yes, you can.
You definitely can.
Really?
Yes, you
I
can.
thought that was a lie. I was thinking to myself, no, you can't do it. Tell us.
Actually, in March, the last Sunday in March, over the past 20 years, we've been hosting a cross-channel swim where we have persons from all over the world would come to St. Kitts just to swim from Nevis to St. Kitts. This year, our winner was a woman, and she did it in like under 1 hour. And we've had at least 250 swimmers over the years. We have persons who do, you know, who come from Italy, from the US. We've had teams from Trinidad, from Antigua, so from all over. So it definitely is possible. And I've seen persons as young as 8 and as old as 80.
So Kimberly,
Actually do it.
a special invitation for you to come and join us and swim.
Yes, it's definitely possible.
Mr. Allison, I can swim to save my life. I'm not sure I can swim between the two islands, but it's very, very interesting because I love that you have a strong thrust for tourism and bringing visitors to see the different things in the island. Another question for you would be, are there coral reefs in the island as well? Like, can you take a boat out and go and see exactly what the island has to offer?
Yeah, we do have corals, but it's not as much as some of the other islands
Yeah.
because we are more volcanic. Yeah, but we do have some corals, and we try to protect what we have at the moment. Yes.
But last year, we actually were named the Caribbean's Dive Destination of the Year. So,
Above Tobago, huh?
Yes.
I'm not going there.
Who was the job for that, Mr. Johnson? But let's just go back to the flight quickly. Do you know how many room or seats are available on the flight?
Yeah, the aircraft is the ATR, 72 seats.
Right.
And in terms of room stock, between St. Kitts and Nevis, we've got about 2,200 rooms. And, you know, we've got choices from luxury to Airbnb to budget. On the beach, not on the beach. So, you know, whatever you're looking for, you can go to visitstkids.com and all the information's there.
Of course. And before we go, comms coordinator, Ms. Jonette, I'm coming to you. Anybody who's looking now and they're looking for a tourism destination, tell us why we should think about St. Kitts and Nevis.
First of all, our people, we are very warm and friendly, and I'm not just saying that. You know, if you've actually been to St. Kitts, then you would experience that.
Yes.
I'm coming in for the Trinis right now. Recently, we have been getting feedback from a lot of journalists speaking about rum and our rum punches. And wherever you go, they're never the same, but they're all tasty.
Yes.
And they all go down very well. So that's a plug in there for my Trini people.
And we appreciate it.
And it's just to come and experience the authenticity of the island, to learn about the island, learn about the history, also get some partying in, but come and relax and just lime. Lime like Kittitians do, come and lime with the Kittitians. We don't discriminate against anybody. Anywhere you go on St. Kitts, you could definitely see the mix between visitors and Kittitians all together, just liming at different spots.
All right, and I think that is where we are going to end it for now. Let me thank you so much for coming. And Jonette Boyd, of course, the communications coordinator, Daniel Weeks, of course, our marketing officer, and CEO, Alison Thompson from the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
on
you
the
for having
Morning
us.
Show.
For having us.
And maybe I'll see you in St. Kitts and Nevis pretty
For the
soon.
swim.
Yeah,
I will not
please.
swim. I can't promise you I will swim, Mr. Thompson. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, that were representatives from the St. Kitts Tourism Authority telling us about that new flight. CAL is taking people from Trinidad to St. Kitts and Nevis, so please go and check it out. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.